The Aloha Hour with Johnny and Dewey.
All right, everybody, welcome back. We've been away for quite some time since our last episode. I think it was about 2.5 months ago. Yeah. I'm super stoked to be here. Today we have a very, very, very special guest, very dear to our hearts. This is something that we were trying to set up for many, many months. I'm going to give the introduction. He's a Brazilian grappler and a Jiu Jitsu competitor who was widely considered to be one of the best grapplers and arguably the best pound-for-pound submission grappler in the world. He has 5 world championship titles as a black belt. He has many submission grappling titles, including the prestigious ADCC titles. At ADCC, he won his division 4 times. He's been awarded the most technical fighter twice in 2003 and 2007, and won the best fight award in 2005. In September 2009, he opened his academy in Manhattan, New York City, which has become one of the most well-known BJJ schools in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, he is Marcelo Garcia.
Yeah! Thank you.
Welcome. E como mai?
E como mai? Yeah.
What an honor. What an honor.
Thank you. Thanks for the introduction.
Absolutely. Super stoked to have you here, man.
Oh, my God. You got to tell a little story how you guys met.
So
Yeah, cause it's really a beautiful story.
Crazy story. Yeah. I'm walking down. There was early in the pandemic.
Yes.
Very early. It was 6 feet away. It was crazy. I'm walking into Costco doing my shopping, and then I see him. I see those beautiful eyes around the corner.
The twinkle eyes.
And I'm like, oh my God.
Like
and he has a mask on, and I'm like, is it him? Is it not? What? It's impossible. We're in Hawaii. We're in Costco. It's kind of
yeah.
Costco. And I'm like, Marcelo? And he's like, damn! You're the only one that recognized me with the mask on. What the hell?
Busted.
Busted. And since then, we're trying to set up this amazing podcast because he's a huge influence on my life, huge influence on Dewey's life.
Yeah.
I get all kind of stories from Dewey that he teaches me how great Marcelo is. So we're huge fans, super stoked to have him. Marcelo Garcia, thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Oh.
Guys, so you saw me first, I think, and I went around and then we talk.
Yeah.
So you guys could imagine, I mean, like, sometimes I don't know if people know me or they hit on me. You know what I mean? So they look at me, I was like, I don't know if I look back, you know what I mean? They hit on me because I have a mask.
Yeah.
You know? So that's why usually I feel like, okay, let me just wait to see which way he's looking at me.
I go like this, and you can see Marcelo has the twinkle eyes. I mean, that's how. Yeah, I mean, you cannot.
If I would hit on you, I would have
yeah.
been like winking.
I'm not joking. Sometimes I get like in between, like, what kind of feeling? Like I'm feeling, you know, from the other side.
That is crazy.
You know, you spent a lot of time with Burton because you guys are really dear friends. So every so often, Burton would post a picture of you two, and I'd go, how is this photo? Is he really in town? Come to find out, how long you been here in Hawaii already, Marcelo?
I've been since June 2020.
Wow.
It's been
Okay.
1 year.
Almost a year.
Almost
Yeah,
a
yeah.
year.
What was the moment that you were in New York City? Go, you know what? Let's pack our bags.
Yeah,
let's move the family to paradise.
Just a crazy time. You know?
Yeah.
Back then New York was super crazy, right?
Guys, I was expecting they close the island. You know
Wow.
how bad it was. Like I was expecting to close the island and nobody leave.
Wow.
And I was already in lockdown.
Yeah.
Maybe a month
Yeah.
before I closed my gym.
Right.
I took my kids out of school because I have like a special case at home that I didn't want to risk. You know?
Yeah.
We felt like this could be a really dangerous scenario for one of my kids.
Yeah.
And we felt like we can't risk that. So I was already like not getting out of the house. I was already not going to the elevator. And then after a month, when everybody closed, and I was like, man, I'm already here a month. And then everything started going like down.
Yeah, getting worse.
Getting worse and worse, and no one knows what's going on.
Yeah.
Talked to really close friends of mine, and then we got to the point like, I think you should leave. I think you should leave now when you still have a chance. I think you guys should just. And I was right. I'm glad I left right in the beginning, because I felt like I didn't hold my kids longer in their apartment, in a small apartment, 2 bedrooms apartment. So I felt like I didn't hurt them as much, you know what I mean? I don't think when I say I felt like, I don't think the pandemic hurt them as much as could be, because I was ready to just be there 6 months.
Wow.
Not leave my apartment. Obviously, we didn't know that was going to. We didn't know how it was going to be, but I was kind of ready. You know what I mean? And then I went to Florida to a close friend of mine, and I stayed with him over there. And then when I say stay with him, he just got me a house over there. I stayed like on the house, and I don't see nobody. And then I realized like my kid's not going to school. Like the online school is being awful.
Right.
I need to get my kids out of the house. And even when I went to a house where you can go to the backyard, we still feel like locked down.
Right.
When I say feel locked down, guys, I was so scared for my family. I was so scared for my family that I was not going on the street.
Yeah.
So even you get out from apartment to a house, you felt good in the first month, but then after 2 months, I was like, this has been like not seeing nobody.
Right.
The neighbors try to talk to me. I was like, just walk out. Every time I go into the garage, they try to talk to me. They probably thought I'm so rude. I was just like getting out of the way.
Yeah.
So things like that, and then
The reason why you were so afraid is because of your daughter?
Yes, you know.
Okay.
Yes, you know, she's considered high risk. You know,
Yeah.
I don't even want to bring that up that much, but I feel like if I don't bring it up, people don't understand
Yeah.
how much fear I have.
Right.
So I don't explain the fear from my family. It's not just for myself.
Right.
Yeah.
But obviously, even I am still need to take care of that. I need to be fear for myself too.
Right.
But then, talking to my friend, talk to a close friend of mine, talk to Burton Richard, who is like a really close friend of mine. They convinced me like, you should go to Hawaii. There's a window now in June that like the case was low. When I say window, like the whole country like was in a low case after the first wave.
Yeah.
So you should go now. And then we came, and I think that was the best decision in our life, and was a big investment.
Yeah.
Was a big risk that I'm still paying for.
Yeah.
When I say risk, like my gym is still there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can be there, you know what I mean? And even if I was next door, I wouldn't go into the gym, you understand?
Yeah.
But you have your team running it right now, no?
Yeah, but it was closed.
Yeah.
The gym stayed closed 1 year, so I'm
Right.
glad I can, because
Right.
even if I was there, I couldn't.
Yeah, you
be
couldn't
You can
teaching,
do anything.
You understand?
Yeah.
So the gym was, we'd be able to keep the gym, but the gym was closed for a year. We pay rent, so it's been hard this whole year. And when I say I still pay the price, I'm still going back. I'm going back next week, and I'm still gonna have to work really hard to bring the gym back.
Right.
My instructor is there. The gym is going back, but I need to be there. I need to lead the group. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because it's my name over there.
Absolutely. I saw one of your posts on Instagram, and it was such a beautiful post. You said, and you gave me so much hope, because you said, it is what it is. The gym is down, it's closed. I built the gym up one time or many times. I can do it again. I'm not afraid. We had to lay low. We had to do what we had to do. And suddenly it dawned on me, yeah, you're right. If you did it once and you have a good product, you can do it again. You don't need to be terrified, because what you have, you can do it again. And it gave me myself, because I was almost in the same situation, and my business was closed as well. It gave me kind of a lot of confidence. Okay, we will redo it. We will do it again.
Yes, we have fears. We
Yeah.
have fears, and my biggest fear. We have different fears. My biggest fear is my family. The
Right.
health of my family.
For sure.
So that one I cannot fix.
Yeah.
If I lose the battle, I cannot fix. But gym, students, membership, what I
Yeah.
mean? I can do anytime again. I can
Yeah.
build anywhere in the whole world if I need to.
Yes.
I don't want to
Right.
restart. I
Right.
appreciate it, like everything I have built, but if I lose, if that kind of gets off of my control, of my hands, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, you gotta be ready to build again. If something that's so important for you, you build again. If you
Yeah.
really enjoy
100%.
the month before everything happens, if you really enjoy, if you still feel like you're there, that's like something that is part of you, you build again. You can do it again. If something that is convenient for you, and you're like, okay, I'm enjoy this. This is mine. This is my possession. This is like my income, whatever. And then you lose, and it's something that like it was just like the money taken, and you have to build again. You're like, all right, that's hard. I think,
100%.
but it's something that you have passion to leave that, to be there. You know what I mean? Like what I feel I still have, like. You can do it again. We can't complain. And you can't complain when you still have energy to do it again.
Yeah.
If something crazy happened you
God
in
forbid,
bad and
Yeah.
you can do it again, it's like, all right, you're in
Yeah.
trouble.
Yeah.
Now God must help you. Your friend must help you because your family, some people are going to help you. You still got to believe people are still going to help you. But obviously that would be hard for you to build by yourself. But when you still have energy, when you stand up and go out and you're ready to do, you know what I mean, something that you did before, it's not a secret, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's the same thing that goes to a competition, guys. People go win a world title, and it's like, yeah, so you did once, you can do it again. Just believe, you know what I mean? So that's part of like what I learned in Jiu-Jitsu. What I don't think I could have learned that like outside Jiu-Jitsu. Life teaches a lot, but it's not so clear like in Jiu-Jitsu. Jiu-Jitsu like hit you really hard when you make a mistake, you know? And the price when something goes well, it's so real too.
Right.
It's not pretending, you know what I mean? When you're able to kind of like win, conquer something that you wish for, and I'm talking about like anything, right? A submission, a final of the awards, beating somebody that nobody thought could be beat, you know. So meet your first training partner. You know what I mean? I can't even imagine like how everybody really feels, but I know it's something that makes you feel you did it. You finally you figure it out, you learn, and lose some weight from Jiu-Jitsu. What you maybe never have that power to do by yourself. Right. And then when you do Jiu-Jitsu, you feel like, oh, I'm losing weight. Oh, let me eat a little bit better. I feel like a crap today that I eat bad. Oh, let me just eat better for tomorrow, and then you do those things through Jiu-Jitsu and then you lose weight. Those are the things that like we can conquer in Jiu-Jitsu, and I learned through Jiu-Jitsu. What we can learn through life really is harder and teaches stuff that sometimes is not clear. Sometimes you go end up and you make the same mistake again and you don't realize and you push.
I like to make the same mistake 4 times just to make sure.
But that's the beautiful life, right?
I'm okay. As long as you don't give up.
Yeah. It's so funny because listen to you, and I think that's the reason why you're one of the most well-loved and respected. Your leadership vision is incredible. I think great leaders is all from the heart, right? And second, they're willing to do the right thing no matter what circumstances. And I think you have shown that to the world multiple times. And that one moment I saw you deal with the issue in the academy, there was a separation among your students, and a couple of the students really well known. And when you stood up and spoke about that, man, I always 100%. Been in love with you. I fell in love with you even deeper. Yeah. And I rank that.
I think that was also a turning point because he actually put a stop to the, or he gave his opinion on the trash talk and then all that wishy-washy that is. And then I think you recorded yourself and you put it, and it was just...
Yeah, but I think a lot of time people don't really understand that, you know, when you go to me, I want to... You're the person I would die for. So without shadow of doubt, if I feel this way, Marcelo, I don't even train at your school. So I know that every single one of those students cannot wait for your return. I'm trying to convince you to stay here and maybe an open 1 year, so that for every kid in Hawaii, everyone in Oahu got a little piece of this beautiful thing that you have, you know. And I would love to find out more. Is it your parents, your upbringing, who brought this beautiful sense of egolist? Like you're one of those person that I can just feel you, right? And part of that energy exchange is there's completely transparency. You know, that twinkle in the eye, the gentleness when you speak, unless you're on the mat. You know, and what happened in childhood? Like, who was instrumental that kind of shift your mind to the person you are today?
I try to be clear, you know, and clear means like honest, you know? And sometimes too honest, and sometimes some people is not used to be listen to honest, you know. Yeah. But we all have fears. We all hide something that maybe you don't want to see, maybe you don't want to hear, you know what I mean? But I'm trying to be the most clear possible because I want you to know me. I want you to know like how much you can depend on me. Yeah. Some stuff you can, you know, don't depend on me to do this for you because I cannot do that. But I want you to know exactly what you can count on me. And that's, I feel like, the best way to people know what they can count on you. Yeah. Because one day they feel, oh, I can count on him on this, but then they don't know. And then one day they count on you and they're like, oh, but I thought, yeah, you thought, but... So I like to just be clear and then tell people like, look, I can do this, I can do that, I can do anything for you. But there's one thing that is like, I cannot go to that. or if you're wrong, I cannot go there and be on your side, even when you're wrong. You know what I mean? I have to be honest with you and tell, like, I think you're wrong. So that's a couple of things that, like, you need to let clear people knows, like, who you are and how much they can count on you.
Very well said. Very well said. That's build the integrity.
Yeah,
That's
the values, the values, the belief, the
yeah,
conviction. You believe this certain value, you operate your life, and there's no non-compromisable.
I think also this is by the way, just a side note. I think this is why people also trust Joe Rogan, for example, because he's integrity. If it's shit, he'll tell you it's shit, and if it's good, he tells you it's good. But he's not gonna take for a couple of thousands of dollars. He's not gonna promote something that is crap. You know what I mean?
I like him.
Yeah.
And this is the same kind of vision. Like, money cannot buy my opinion. I have standards, I have the way I see life, and this is what guides me.
And bring back, like, my family, my parents. I was adopted, and my parents was really old. When I say really old, like,
how old were you when your parents? I mean, how old were your parents when you were adopted?
When I say really old, I don't know the people that has, like, kids feel old.
No, it's okay.
But was really old compared to my friends. It's really old compared to my friends' parents. I saw my parents' they're so young, and then I saw my parents, like, you know, they have, like, a grandparents' age, you know what I mean? But my dad was, like, on his 60s, you know what I mean, when he has me. My mom was 50-something, you know what I mean? And I felt like they just, like, don't know much to push me.
Got it.
So they just kind of, like, they just give me love. They just give me all the love. So they never, like, really did something like to hurt me or to lead me in a way that I didn't know. They just give me love. Yeah. And sometimes that can go in a good way, and can go in a bad way because they never, like, my mom tried to spank me many times. You know what I mean? But she never really, like, beat me up. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes I was doing something wrong, and then I was able to get away with that. Well, that can be bad, you know what I mean? You can get away. So I felt like I just have that, just so much love. I have so much love, not much boundaries. Yeah. You understand? Yeah. What could be a problem I feel like today as a parent. Yeah. But I need to be honest and tell, like, they just give me love. You know what I mean? They think what my dad taught me the most, and can be good and can bad, but you can take this, like, in a different levels. He told me, like, don't throw garbage on the floor. Don't throw this on the floor. That was something that I was like, I can never throw anything on the floor. And that means a lot. You know?
It means a lot. It's a very valuable lesson.
Oh, 100%.
I used to have a window by my room. I was just like, next morning, in the evening, my dad comes with whatever I throw. So he's like, you know, what I'm trying to say, like, imagine my dad, if he was here today, he'll be like 98, 97. Yeah. So that was another time. Right. So I need to understand that. I need to respect that. He couldn't be teaching stuff that we learn today. He couldn't be teaching about, like, oh, be careful in the internet. Be careful with you know things like that. He would just talk about no drugs. That's it. And then even no drink. But then, you know, there was drink all over the house. You know, there was alcoholic people around the house all the time. You know what I mean? So he couldn't be teaching stuff that we face today, you know, but he taught everything he knew. Right. And especially back then, you know what I mean, the fears was another ones. The dangers back then was a different ones. You understand? Especially come from a really small place, really small town.
Where are you from?
It's in Minas Gerais. Yeah. And the name of my hometown is Formiga, what means ant. Yeah. And today there is still probably like 75,000 people. You understand? Wow. So it was a really small place, and they're different from, like, that small place to a capital. You know what I mean? To a São Paulo, a big city like that. Guys, it's just, like, huge. You know, it's huge. And so I just learn more stuff, like, as you grow up and you go out and then risk, make mistakes and learn, you know what I mean, fall, and sometimes make mistake again and try learn better, you know what I mean.
What age did you start your journey?
Jiu-Jitsu with 12.
Jiu-Jitsu journey with 12.
Yeah, was with judo. I started with judo, but my
karate first, then judo. Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah.
And the jiu-jitsu and judo was a mix for me. It was never like a real, like, oh, you just do judo. No, I do judo and jiu-jitsu. Was always like a mix, because I was only focusing judo in the beginning, but then my judo teacher, he was like a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. So, you know, like, he was always like show some stuff, you know what I mean, about the ground. Yeah. But even I was like a teenage, even I was not allowed to do submission. No choke on the ground in judo, at least back then. At least not choke, I remember. So you learn jiu-jitsu, but then you couldn't really like choke when someone turned back from you in judo, you know. But it was kind of a big introduction to the grappling game, to the ground, to takedowns. And
was that love at first roll? Would you fall in love with jiu-jitsu right away?
Completely.
Right away. That was it.
But it was from judo.
Yeah, got it. Okay.
Do you remember who gave you all your belts?
Yes, of course.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's crazy.
But I remember also like when I felt humble the first time, when I went to try to take someone smaller than me down, when I couldn't even move him, and then he just do whatever he wants to me and throw me on the ground. So I feel like that has a big impact on all of us when we first start jiu-jitsu.
Right.
Oh yeah.
When you think you know you can do something, you realize that you can't do anything, and then I felt like that was like a big impact of why I fell in love with that. When I realized like, well, I don't know anything, you know what I mean? I thought I was used to when you're 12 years old, you look to somebody like, oh, he looked bigger than me, let's not mess with him. And then you look someone small like, okay, I can take him, you know.
Yeah.
That's how usually when you're a kid you measure yourself like, oh, if he try to beat me, I'm okay, you know. Oh, if he try to beat me, I'm in trouble, you know.
Yeah.
But then when I did jiu-jitsu, judo the first time, I was like, well, I'm totally wrong. You know, if someone knows a little bit of judo, a little bit of jiu-jitsu, like I don't know anything now. I still feel I just have a karate, you know what I mean? Like, and this guy grabbed my gi, my shirt, my jacket, and I'm not gonna do anything with him, you know. Felt awful, you know.
That's so crazy.
But that's like come the love, right?
Yeah.
And martial arts.
I heard that when you actually realized there was other academy that had higher belt. And one of the things I heard was like, it was like Spider Guard was like the new move, and you had to find your way to find a way to go find an academy to give you higher training. And I heard also you took like a 10-hour bus ride 2-3 times a week to go train as a teenager, I heard.
It was not that long. I went far to train.
Yeah.
But my daily train was probably like almost every day. It was like an hour and a half, 2 hours drive back and forth. And when you're 12, 13, especially my hometown, you're not used to leave your hometown. When you're from a really small place, you don't learn like, oh, you have to go to another city to do something. I just did that because I really felt like I want to so bad. And my parents let me. It's something that was like ridiculous back then. Like your parents let like 12 years old, 13 years old getting inside of like a bus and go to another town.
But that brings us back to the love that they gave you. They trusted you. They gave you the love, and they, you know,
they let me, and
they knew you.
They knew my passion. You know? I was so much like passionate, and then asked them, you know, how much I want to do that, you know. And then I was like, okay, you know what I mean?
But you were like you were like built smaller, right?
No. Do you know what is that humble thing that I told that I learned? Because I have the same size since I was 12 years old.
Wow.
I was like, I'm this size since I'm 12 years old. I don't know why I stopped growing. But then at 12,
no more spam. You don't have any spam in
no spam in Brazil.
You need spam in Brazil.
I'll talk about that. But when I was 12 years old, I was a big kid compared to the other 12 years old, right? If you measure 12 years old, at least in Brazil, we're small in Brazil compared to US, right? But at least in Brazil, I was big 12 years old. 13, 14, everybody started becoming way bigger than me. So I felt I was big. I was like heavy. I felt I was a strong kid. And then going to jiu-jitsu and know someone like a really small thing, we can really. I still remember the name of that kid that gave me a good beat in the train. You know what I mean? So makes you very humble. You know what I mean? About that. You know.
But I think in ADCC, when you fight absolute, you know, then you can really realize, you know, the difference, because by the end of the day, you always fight your same weight bracket, right? So you don't know if really jiu-jitsu, technically, the small person can defeat the big person, because it's usually, you know, the big people usually win the absolute.
Or stronger, you know what I mean?
Unless it's Marcelo, Garcia, and we see you doing crazy stuff over there to bigger people. And this is when I watched your fights, I realized, oh, you can. Like, if you're a smaller guy, you still can, if you just have the technique down.
I believe.
Yeah.
I believe I have, and I I'm proud of that. I think I have proof.
Yeah,
yeah,
something
absolutely.
about that.
Absolutely.
And
You
I'm
put a
proud of
stamp
that.
on it.
And I wanted people to know that, you know what I mean? That Jiu-Jitsu is very reliable, you know what I mean?
100%. I also think that you know your approach, the way you fought from day one, is more going after the submission rather than for a point game and taking side control and winning by advantage. I you know, you always went for the kill, so to speak, and this is also something that I personally really appreciate, because by the end of the day, it's a submission game. It's a chess game, and the checkmate is a submission. So stopping in the middle just by points was always like a mystery to me in my book. I know that people would say differently. That people love the IBJJF point system, but for me, it's always like.
I can talk a little bit about that, and I really wish I can share that with you guys. If I just say like I just go to the kill, I just want to win by submission, I feel I'll be very cocky to say that. You know, I don't want to do that. But I always go to decide the mat. I don't know if I've been clear of that. When I go compete, when I always have compete. Even when it was right in the beginning, I felt like there was one thing I felt I can have a control of my life. When I go there and challenge whoever's on the other side, I challenge whatever tournament it was, super fight, mundial, small tournament, one fight, you know, whatever, small bracket, big bracket, second bracket of the day, weight and absolute. I always felt like that was the only time I have control of my fate, of my destiny. That's what I felt. So I always fought to decide something on my favor. So the time that I always have on the mat, that was the only time I can do something. I cannot do something after the time runs out. So that's why it feels like people are like, oh, he always go to the kill, but I go there to decide to make win towards my way. Because if I let on your way, you won't defeat me. If I let on the referee way, the referee maybe doesn't like me.
Yeah.
You know, maybe the referee like you more. Maybe the referee is like a friend of yours. Like, I can't depend on nobody. So that was the only time I felt like I have the control to do something towards my side, towards my wish. And the tournaments, I felt like I was kind of like decide my life. That was like I always took a tournament as like a job interview. Yeah. You know, when you go to the job interview and you wish to be qualified for the job. And
you do your best,
And you hope to the guy on the other side of the table likes you too. You go there like, oh, I'm a good guy, you know, give the job or give the raise. But then when you go to the tournament, that's the only time you can do. You really can do yourself. You know? And that was like why competing was so much pressure for me, because I felt I can do. I don't need to someone give it to me. I don't need someone like me. Yeah. I can go there and do by myself, you know what I mean?
Beautifully said, man. This is...
I'm more fascinated how you derive with this mindset, and I'm curious to see how much Jiu-Jitsu has influenced the way you think and you see the world. I imagine. I mean, that's why I fell in love with Jiu-Jitsu, because at the beginning, you know, everyone watched UFC, and you like the submission, and there's a point in our Jiu-Jitsu journey to become really spiritual, you know, and for me, you're that man. You're that man I admire, because I think, you know, the way you approach life, the way you approach your academy, the way you approach the world, I see a lot of positivity, a lot of love, a lot of transparency, a lot of vulnerability. And I think that's why people admire and love you so much. And then the egoless of who you are, it's a beautiful thing. I would like to hear and kind of your journey of Jiu-Jitsu when you were like a teenager, 20, 30, because Jonathan, I heard you beginning to compete in absolute as a teenager because you want to challenge everyone, because you want to, you would actually, like you said earlier, you want to know what my game is all about, and you want to know where's my weak and strong point. And that's the reason why when you look at your records, holy crap. Yeah. The only time you really lose is really an absolute, because those gentlemen are way bigger and mostly by points. But then everybody in your weight class, you mopped them, you know. So I'm curious to see, you know, because I think you're one of the most brilliant minds.
Thank you.
Besides your jiu-jitsu.
What people doesn't understand, and I don't think they see. Sometimes they see me winning. Sometimes they saw me winning. Sometimes they saw I was submitting someone. but they don't know the mistakes that I have done before that.
Yeah.
They don't know like how many times I failed. And this what he just told was just because I have made a lot of mistakes before. I have like messed up everything. I have eat bad. I have skipped train one day. I have sleep late one night. I have like attempt every move in jiu-jitsu. I have attempt every move that I know I could attempt. I try, and that try and fail make me learn something. So I was never afraid to be crushed. I was never afraid to make a mistake. I was never afraid to like to be smashed by someone that was bigger than me, because I try. So I was always able to try, and every time I try, guys, look, make mistake is not fun. Big crush and smash is not fun. But we learn something.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and we can learn so much in jiu-jitsu. You can learn so much like going on the ground. You have so much time of like a rolling mat time. So you gotta learn something. And you cannot learn if you stay at home. You cannot learn if you go in somebody smaller than you and hold him and pin him down. You cannot learn. You can. But people try to avoid those mistakes. You have to make mistakes. I have made all the mistakes that I could imagine.
Yeah.
I have made those mistakes. I have failed on the gym. I have like a fail every attempt like I have tried. But then I have learned something out of that. I have a really dear friend of mine that tell me that like I think you're the one that has like the least. You're the one that has like repeat the list of mistakes that I know, because I have already made so many. So every time I make a mistake, I was like, okay, I cannot do this anymore. I know a way to go around, because I just make the mistake.
So you find the solution instead of making the mistake again.
And I repeat. I try to repeat. You know what I mean? I try to repeat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's just testament to an egoless mind on the mat, right? Because the ego wants to win. The ego is create that fear. I cannot lose. But when you have zero ego, you want to learn. I think that's what you're saying. Is like you got to take a chance and just go.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you win or lose. Doesn't matter. Along the way, you're gonna learn more about who you are, your game, and everything else. Right?
But do you understand there's like a level of ego that matter and a level of ego that don't matter?
Right.
If you go to the elevator now and you see someone that kind of looking at you and you're looking back and like, don't look at me like this.
Yeah.
You understand? Like, you need to look at me like down. Don't look at me like this.
Yeah.
So that's an ego that doesn't, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
There's an ego that doesn't matter.
Right.
But people,
false ego.
People usually, they try to always have that ego. You know, when they put a shirt, they're going to make them feel like strong. Even sometimes you know inside they're not strong, but then they want to feel good about that ego.
Yeah.
Going down, you know, the street that day, you know.
Yeah.
So that ego for me, I'm like, I'm totally like off of that.
Yeah.
I don't even see it. Somebody look at me, I was like, I don't have to look it back. You just look at me once at me. I don't have to look it back. I already saw you. You know, yesterday a guy looked at me. You know what I mean? I was like, okay, I don't have to look this guy back. You understand? So I just passed by. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then sometimes people on the other side feels like they want to have that ego back.
Yeah.
Because they want to feel that. They want to feel like I'm looking back, see if he's gonna look me back again.
Yeah.
He look at me, I look away. I don't have nothing to look at him.
Yeah.
But then, if you tell me like, okay, this is a prize, this is a win, this is a tournament.
Yeah.
This is gonna change your life.
Yeah.
This is gonna make your life better.
Yeah.
This is gonna help you to afford something for you, for your family, for your loved ones, whoever. My mother, you know what I mean, when she was alive and I was still a teenage competing.
Yeah.
I felt like, okay, this is gonna decide something.
Yeah.
So your ego is gonna allow you to win, or your ego is gonna allow you to let go of this and let the other side win. That one was a moment that like my ego comes stronger than anyone I ever faced on the other side.
Yeah.
I have win, I have lose.
Yeah.
I have it lose a lot. I don't know. I don't want to repeat those.
Yeah.
But I don't think anyone on the other side, even when I lose, have fought more than me.
Yeah.
Don't lose that. Even when I lost because I tried everything. I have lost one try hold, and that taught me a lot. And I say hold like just try to describe that quick. I make advantage in the beginning of the mat, and then I want to get more points. I want to get more, but then halfway towards the mat, I will still have only one advantage. And then I realized, okay, half of the mat is already almost, so half of towards the end of the mat is already towards the end. So it feels like, oh, it's already, the time is run down. So let me just hold this advantage. I lost in the ending. So that
because you didn't go for
the 10 minutes. I didn't go the 10 minutes. So that taught me a lot, and I remember that until today. And I'm gonna remember every time I train, every time I go compete, I was still gonna have that feeling that I cannot let that time go because I have that small advantage. So those are the things that I have learned on the mat, and make me like feel like I can do whatever I feel passion for. You know what I mean? And it's hard to describe that to people when they don't feel that passion. I mean, if you feel that passion, if you have that passion, you can do it. You're gonna do it. You know what I mean? It's gonna be all right. You know what I mean? And one last thing that you mentioned about the positive thing, like there's always like a bad side and a good side. When I say bad side, like, oh, you can try and you can twist your ankle and you're done. You know, or you can go and you tear your ACL and you're done. Train tomorrow. You can go compete and be submitted in the first second. But I never think about that. I always think about the good side. I always think about the bright side. And you have to believe in that. You can't commit forward if you think something bad could happen. So I'm so used to always look to the good side. When I say the good side, like, I believe it's gonna work. I have a faith. I have fear. But that fear is not gonna make me like a hesitator.
Positive fear. It's a positive fear. It feeds the
positive mental attitude.
I have fear. I told about all my fears. I told about my biggest fears. I already mentioned you guys before. But that doesn't allow. I don't allow that. Not let me live life or try hard. Something that I believe. You know? And I always felt that in the tournament. I always felt like, oh, he's big, he's strong. Yeah, he has a tough wrestler. He has a very strong wrestler. I think he can dump me on my head if he really like to. I think he can maneuver away and then can spike me right on my head on the floor. I have felt that on the mat. You know? But it's not gonna happen. I can do it. You know, I can do it. And that's kind of like, you have to lose. I have fear. I fear that could happen. But that's not gonna happen. I'm gonna commit forward, and I think those comes like my biggest lesson. I have learned from those, because sometimes like a workout, and why you don't believe it's gonna work out again. If you work out once, it's gonna work out again. You know what I mean?
Do you work with your athletes on that psychological approach?
So much, so much. But there's not everyone that wants to listen. There's not everyone that wants to like go through the ego. Daily, you know.
Daily.
One day is okay. One day, sometimes you can like, oh, I'm not ego today. I'm not fighting any ego today. I'm gonna be open to do. But then next day I see them do the same thing again. I was like, you should be still keep trying. You know, keep trying like the new thing. Keep trying like something new. Don't just stuck to your same game. You know what I mean? You already know your own game. You're already great on your own game. You already have the best like on this. But once you learn one thing, one move, one great move, you learn like your favorite move. I don't think there's only one favorite move. You can still, if you figure out one move, you can figure out another one. If you figure out another one, after you figure out another one, you can figure out another one.
100%.
We have so much time to train. When I say so much time to train, like 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, we can train for many years, right? So we have to learn. We cannot just be stuck with just one game, you know what I mean?
Given what's going on right now in the whole jiu-jitsu industry, because of the pandemic and everything else, what do you foresee the industry? You know, it seems like Gordon Ryan, Craig Jones, it seems there's a lot more opportunity in no-gi tournament because there's a lot more money and prize in it. It was fascinating to me to find out that you really did no-gi until you're like a brown belt, right? And kind of share with us, you know, do you recommend the same thing for your students? Like, hey, stick with the gi, get the basic fundamental down, and when you want to venture no gi, do that. And how do you see the industry? Are we going to move towards more submission-only no gi, where it's more exciting, or you think this gi thing still continue to exist?
All I can do is what I know. All I can try teach is what I know. I can't pretend. If I don't know one thing, I'll tell like, I can't teach that. I have no idea how to do this.
I would know what that is. But
sometimes I can tell like, I'm gonna try to learn, and sometimes like, I don't even want to learn that to teach you because I don't like this. I think there's a bad side on this. So usually like, I always go pros and cons. You know? I feel like I have a lot of passion. to teach and compete and train, and I still want to do all this, but I still want to make people believe that like it's not about the rules. People can always like how I say like people find always a way to just don't go by the rules. When I say go by the rules, like, oh, this rule is gonna make them kind of like fight hard. No, people find a way to don't have to fight that hard if they don't want to. So it's not about the rules. It's not about like, oh, this rule is gonna make the fight harder because there's a prize, because there's a point system. Like, no, people are always gonna find a way. Like, I don't know what's the word, guys, when you just like find a way to just like trick the rules. You understand? And so it's not about the rules. It's about like the athlete. It's not about gi, it's not about no gi. You can make excited if you really want in any rules. And I'm so used to compete, guys, and be invited for. I was able to really get in between. That time there was a lot of like super fights. I was able to do a lot of super fights, some prize, maybe more money today than it was before. But I was able to always get called to a different rules tournament. I used to arrive from New York to Rio de Janeiro. Super fight, go there, and they change the rules right when I land there.
Wow.
From what they told me. Change the time from 10 minutes to 20 minutes. Things that would be a big problem for a lot of people. But then I was like, the rules doesn't matter because this is going to be the same rules for me and for you. But then if you tell me there's one rules for me and one rules for you, all right, that's a problem.
Right.
I can't accept that.
Yeah.
I'm not dumb to accept something that's just going to be good for you and not good for me. But it's not about the rules. It's about like if you train for it and if you believe you can do it. So today people think about only submission only. But guys, how many submission only that you see people do and they still end up like not doing anything? Yeah. I think people need to be afraid to lose. I still feel like the draw thing in the end is not good because, okay, as long as I don't look bad, you don't look bad, let's just call this even in the end. People find their way to just like don't try hard and make them don't look bad if they don't make a mistake. So I'm not gonna make mistakes so I don't look bad, but in the end like it's gonna be a draw. Okay, but I'm in front of the camera, I'm good. I'm still look good. I'm still like get a nice haircut. I came in today, everybody saw me.
I feel even athletes sometimes wanna, even if they lose by points, they're like, okay, it's just by points. I wasn't submitted, so it's okay.
Sometimes people just want to be called out like in a big stage. So it's not about that. So it's not about it's about the athlete that wants to just believe in the submission, believe in the show. And reality, guys, if you ask me if I like to compete or fight against someone big or small, I prefer fight someone my size. I don't think I want to find someone bigger than me. You know what I mean? It's still advantage. He's still going to have some advantage. I believe in Jiu-Jitsu, but he's still going to have advantage. And it's going to be off, it's going to be heavy, you know what I mean? Maybe I can get hurt, you know what I mean? But I always felt that was the only time I can prove something bigger than everybody. That was the only, if the challenge is not big, like the price is not going to be big. I always felt like if I go and I challenge myself in the absolute, people were going to trust more in what I'm telling. People are going to believe more in what I'm saying in Jiu-Jitsu when I'm teaching. So I always felt like the obligation. I don't want to go fight absolute, but I know if I fight the absolute, people are going to know, yeah, he's really trying hard. He's really like, if I got the win, they're like, oh, he's just really work. Okay, so I'm going to go train with him. I'm going to have a class with him. I'm going to buy his instructions. So it's all about the athlete. It's not about the rules. It's not about the tournament. The tournament, we try to kind of corner the athlete and make them like, oh, you guys have to fight. You know, you guys have to fight. But it's about like each individual. You know what I mean? You have.
But not a lot of people think as pure as the way you think. You know, a lot of us, you know, as spectators, where we want to see Jiu-Jitsu. I want to see the best of the best giving the best of the best against each other. I don't want to see the best of the best playing safe, because I'm looking at them as a hero, you know, like I'm looking up to them. I don't want him to go safe. I prefer he lost, just like you said, but he tried the best he can. He was running around, he was grabbing, he was going. He tried the best he can, but he lost. It's okay, it's no problem. Next time you're going to win. But if stay safe is always, for me, as someone that likes the energy and likes it's always such a drawback, you know.
I like that, and it's not about the rules. It's about the
fighter.
The fighting.
When you look at Jiu-Jitsu industry, you know, in America, compared to when we first got here, I mean, oh my gosh. And I think scale 1 to 10, 10 like maturity, like, you know, we actually have, just like karate at one time in America, like even today, almost every single block you have a karate school. So there's more jiu-jitsu school now ever since the beginning.
Yeah.
You know, since basically jiu-jitsu landed in America, I don't know how many years ago. What is your worry about the growth of jiu-jitsu in America? Do you think you're so afraid that we're beginning to dilute the sport, don't keep the honor, integrity, and the whole intention, the purity of jiu-jitsu?
Of course.
Yeah, yeah.
You say everything.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
that's
how do we
prevent
prevent it? Like, how do we prevent it? You know, like to me, when I see you and I see, you know, when you put a black belt on one of your students, man, I know if I was a black belt under you, I know one thing. I'm going to perpetuate everything you taught me to be on and off the mat.
And I try.
Yeah.
And I try that.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes people in my gym, they feel like they have to be my friend to become a black belt. No, it's not about that.
Yeah.
They have to be friendly to become a black belt. You understand?
That's so powerful what you just said.
So when I ask them, like, you know, we need to feel something so we can become a black belt. I need to feel your commitment for the art. You commit to me, to my beliefs.
Yeah.
And you don't have to.
Yeah.
You know, I don't force anybody to be in my gym and do that. But if you're there, I want that friendly, like persona to come out.
Yeah.
I want everybody to feel able to approach you, even after you become a black belt.
Right.
I don't want you to have that ego on the mat that is bad. You understand?
Yeah.
So I feel like what we can do is just like change who, be a good example of who is close to us.
Right.
And if somebody has a bad idea about it, try change his mind and just bring them like to be friendly to each other, to respect each other. I feel like that's the most we can do. But people today, they promote a lot in Jiu-Jitsu, in US, in the world, in UFC.
Yeah.
They promote about the money.
Yeah.
And I know the money is important. Everybody want to have like something good. Everybody wants to have a car. Not everybody. A lot of people want to have a nice car.
Yeah.
Want to have a house. You want to have a pool in your house. People has a goal, and we respect that. But we know this is not the most important. You don't know like, okay, I'm going to give a car, but I'm going to take you something. Do you want to do that? Like some people like, yeah, what are you going to take to me? You can lose so many things. So sometimes you have one dream, sometimes you have one wish. But sometimes that wish, that dream is not the most important. Then sometimes you just figure out that after you have.
Yeah.
So I believe things that like make you happy from the inside, not happy from the outside. Not happy like because I'm happy because you see me, I have this.
Yeah.
I'm happy because you see me, I'm in a nice car and I'm passing by. I'm happy because that. No, you have to be happy in the inside. You have to be happy because you have things that make you happy inside. When people talk to you, when people look at you and makes you feel good.
Yeah.
When people talk to you and make you feel good, guys, this is like the best in the whole world. You don't want to look at somebody looking at you like I want to have that watch. I wish I can have that watch. You know what I mean? Like, and then you feel proud about like I have this nice watch. So like this doesn't make you feel good. I haven't bought a nice watch, so that's why I came on my mind. Watch like that doesn't make you feel good. After I bought the watch, I was like, now I feel like I
want to sell the watch.
Yeah.
Now I feel like not proud to wear the watch. After a couple months, I felt like so I believe. People is going towards the way. People wants to trade their beliefs. People want to like hide their fears, just to make them look good on the outside. But sometimes, and that's the fear that I'm afraid in Jiu-Jitsu in the tournament. People will go compete just because the money. Yeah. And the ones that get the money, they're gonna realize. You know. Yeah. So I'm doing my part. I'm trying to be self-spoken about that. But it's just like everyone option should choose that or not. You know what I mean? Choose that like I have made a lot of mistakes and I have learned from most of them, and I hope I can learn more. I still believe I'm still gonna make mistakes, but I'm trying really hard to learn from them. And there's a lot of the people mind that we can follow. You know, I'm just trying to be honest about my opinion, and then whoever wants to follow, like can follow, but like I cannot go and force. I cannot.
You're
go
not going to
inside.
change your ways to fit anyone's agenda. This is what you believe in. They need to step up into that belief.
Especially if they're someone that is really close to me. You know what I mean? Like I don't want somebody acting stupid like really close to me.
You know what? I just wanted to say, when you were talking about the pure jiu-jitsu and about all of that, the biggest trash talk ever was by Hicks and Gracie and the Gracie family making posts in newspapers saying, we can kick everybody's ass, come get your money, line up, we're going to kick your ass. So when people talk about that jiu-jitsu and the pure and no trash talk, by the end of the day we have to all slap ourselves in the face and realize jiu-jitsu became what jiu-jitsu is today because Hickson was saying, I'm willing to fight anyone. I don't care who you are, how big you are, where you're from, and what martial art you're doing. I'm still going to kick your ass. And people were standing. So there's nothing more patronizing. There's nothing more show-off, so to speak, than that. Yeah. And I think it did do a lot of good to the sport if you look at it.
Yeah. Because it's a Conor McGregor. You got to think the rest of the world didn't really know jiu-jitsu.
People didn't know anything.
So the Gracie's family used the kind of a Conor McGregor marketing idea to promote jiu-jitsu. Now, some people like it, some people don't.
But this is what
that wasn't fake.
Yeah, that was fake. I know.
But Gordon Ryan's and the John Hurt, that squad, it's not fake either.
Right.
They talk trash, but
they can back it up.
They can back it up.
Just like Hickson, right?
So a lot of people, like, they kind of don't like their, Gordon is doing this and Gordon is doing that. Hickson did it too. More than Gordon ever did. More than Gordon ever will.
That was a different time, and I wasn't there to give my exact opinion. But I always have opinion. Hickson was always like, Hickson is the biggest idol of my life.
Yeah.
I always have.
Yeah.
I met him. I don't know him personally.
Yeah.
So I cannot give an opinion on that.
Yeah.
But he was always the idol on jiu-jitsu. He always bring you can reach that. You can do that. He did. You gotta believe you can do. So I always look at him as like, if he did, you can do something like that too.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it was a different time, and nobody knows everything, and maybe they felt that was the only way that they can expose the market. But today, I don't think you need to do that. Today, you can live with less.
Yeah.
Today, people want to live with more, but then they want to. But I believe you can live with less. And sometimes when you have more, doesn't mean you're more happy. So just watch out with whatever you wish for. You know? I'm a happy guy. I have a lot of pain. I have suffered a lot. I have fears that make me fear home when I'm at home by myself, but I'm a happy guy.
Yeah.
And I have my beliefs that make me really happy. And if you ask my opinion, I gotta give my opinion on what I believe.
Yeah.
I have conquered things that I don't think the money can give you.
100%.
And I'm telling, like, today, if you just fight for the money, I can give my own opinion. You're gonna end up short with your beliefs.
Yeah. I think what you just shared, is so powerful. Life, until you figure out the only place to give you happiness and peace is internal. The external world, you never have control. And what you're saying is, like, because of what's going on social media and all this hoopla, we all want to focus on what the world perceives us. And that's just it's like an illusion, right? So I think that you're kind of, hey, look, guys, you can go after the money, you can do all these material things. By the end of the day, if you really learn jiu-jitsu and what jiu-jitsu has taught you, it comes back deep inside. Everything that we achieve in our life that brings us the most happiness is come for what hold dear to our heart, right? In our belief system, not the car, not the money, not the 10,000 not any of those things. And I think what Marcelo said is important too. Like, look, we're expanding and growing jiu-jitsu leaps and bounds in the world until I think you're a prime example. Until we're beginning to look of our students and teach them more beyond the techniques. Friendly. It's very powerful. You want to be connectable, relatable. You want to be somebody that walks off the mat. Everybody want to admire and love because why? You're kind. Yeah. You're humble. You're egoless, and you're willing to help. And I think that's what the world loves about you, and I think that's what you're doing for your students.
Look,
amen, man.
I don't know Conor McGregor. I know a lot of people that know him, and he's not like how he act. At least he doesn't act like that.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't put his tongue out all the time.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
When he's around
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Gordon Ryan, a lot of my students have been outside the mat of them. They feel good about, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know him personally. I cannot give my opinion on
Yeah.
that. So,
Shout out to Gordon Ryan.
Yeah,
He's
I
very
heard him on
friendly.
the Joe Rogan podcast. I love the guy.
But then,
I really do.
But
When
then,
you listen to him, yeah.
But then, those two persons that I just mentioned, they act in a certain way. They talk a certain way.
Yeah.
And I think they make a lot of money because of that. You know,
Yeah.
because that people want to hear what they say. And maybe that's not the way they are, but that's the way they sell themselves.
Yeah.
That's the way how they sell their fights. That's the way how they want to engage with people. And not everybody has their skills. Not everybody. You can have their skills. I believe you can beat anyone. I believe you can be better than anything that you want to. And in the end, if you just like tell people to do one thing, and then people do that thing, but then they don't end up having the good thing. They only have the bad thing.
Yeah.
It's gonna be really bad for a lot of people.
Right.
Sometimes what is good for you is not good for other people. So sometimes they show, they teach, they tell how good it is for them. But then if that person doesn't have the skill, but then just act like
it's
that,
not good for them.
you're gonna end up just with the bad with the bad part.
Yeah.
And guys, I believe it's pretending. I believe what Gordon Ryan, what Conor McGregor do, they just pretending. They marketing. Pretending.
Yeah.
I believe on that. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
You guys talk to me. I'm just sharing my opinion for you guys.
Yeah.
If somebody is listening to me like that, they don't have to agree with my opinion. But we talk about.
I think you're saying a fact. It's not an opinion. You're saying a fact. It's not an opinion. We think it's a fact. It's not an opinion.
But then one last thing. I have leave close word to them. I have know a lot of people that train with them. I have trained, compete people that train with them. I'm not where they are. I don't know exactly what kind of life they live, but I have lived similar fight life with them. If you are around people 24/7, because we're around people 24/7, unless you're in your bedroom, unless you're in your bathroom. If you are around people 24/7 and you sell yourself like this image, but you know you're not this image, you're just selling this image, and you're this image over here, guys, it's a really hard life. People look at you and think you're that guy. And people 24/7 come to you in Costco and talk to you, think you're that guy. And you're not that guy. It's a really hard life.
If you would have been unfriendly at Costco, you would have break my heart.
But I think Marcelo said something really powerful. We only have one life, one soul, one heart, one mind. Live a transparent life, so therefore you don't have to take off your mask and pretend another life. It's like what you're saying is like the GSP, right? GSP, just an icon. He's a GOAT. But his approach toward the fight is never say anything. He's just GSP. He lets his action does the work. He doesn't need the hoopla and so on and so forth. So I think that's what Jiu Jitsu does. Jiu Jitsu is about self-discovery, you know. But if you figure out Jiu Jitsu, what it does to you, you become more, like I said, transparent and honest. And the twinkle in the eye, like Marcelo Garcia.
Guys, when you talk to me, I know you guys know me. You understand?
Yes.
100%.
Because everything I have say is me, myself.
Yeah.
So when you talk to me, I know you know me. Maybe not so deep, but you know me, something very strong inside of me. And a lot of people have approached me, take picture, talk about fights. Sometimes talk about the same fight. Maybe like 20 times in one day, right? If I go to the tournament, people sometimes I'll talk about one fight of mine sometime, and that's okay. Because I feel they know me. In the end, they say something that like is personal to me. In the end, always someone comes like, "Oh, thank you. I really appreciate what you just said because you say something that like really matter for me. It's not something that I did and I don't like that or I pretend to be that." And that's what I'm trying to say. Like when you are self and people approach you, they approach you because they know. They approach the person that you know you are. So guys, the things that I have heard from people. Or obviously I have heard like, oh, that guillotine, that choke that you do. I have that many times. But the thing that makes me the most happy and then makes me like every day feel like I'm doing some good thing is the other thing that I heard beside that. They say like, oh, I love your jiu-jitsu. Oh, like, yeah, I heard that many times. But then right after they say something that like really touched me. And that makes me walk out, go back to where I came from, feeling good because they talk something that touched me.
Yeah.
So that's why, like, I extremely recommend, don't just pose yourself. Don't just put like a cover on you that's gonna make you just look something that you think you should be look like that.
Right.
Just be yourself, because we're not all the same.
Yeah.
So if you had one thing to say to new black belts that are opening their gym and, you know, trying to create a team or trying to create a school, what is the one thing that you would tell them to go by?
We can go many different, right? If I just talk about tournament, like, go hard on the mat and train every day, sweat every day. But I prefer to tell, like, just be respectful with yourself and be respectful with everybody around you, because it's gonna make your life so easy, so much easy. Yeah. Life is not easy. Yeah. Life is hard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We have to work hard every day. We gotta wake up and get up and do something every day. I push myself to do something every day. I like to be lazy sometimes, but I like to push myself every day to do something. So if I could tell someone new starting a gym, like, just be respectful, because life would be a lot easier that way. We're gonna have much less people against you.
Right.
Much less people.
Yeah.
We don't have to make everybody agree with us. We don't have to make everybody love us.
Yeah.
You know, we cannot force. You know what I mean? But the more people love us, the more people like us, we'll be a lot better. Yeah. I promise you.
Yeah.
I think I have lived a life. I have tried make people enjoy who I am, like who I am.
Yeah.
And it's been like a much easier life than the other way, and I don't even have to try the other way to know the other way.
So the foundation what you're sharing with all of us, the foundation for that, it's just simply respect, right? And accept everyone's differences and just respect. That's powerful.
And how I have taught me so much about this.
Yeah,
wow.
I want to know. I was going to dive into the whole.
The first thing I felt over here is like my drive experience over here. I drive so much nicer and polite, because come from São Paulo, I learned how to drive in São Paulo.
Yeah.
Oh, you drove in São Paulo? Oh my God!
Guys, the traffic in Hawaii is beautiful.
Yeah.
I love the traffic over here. When we talk about traffic, I love the traffic in Hawaii. I can have this traffic. I can drive like the poly, like every day. I'll be happy. You know what I mean? So I have learned over that and got over here. Like it's so much more nice to drive.
Yeah.
I like to be nice with people. I think I'm nice with people over and over. But then when you drive in São Paulo, you drive in New York, you feel like you don't have to be nice. You don't have to give a right to the people. Because if you don't give, you don't go, you don't move. You know what I mean? So you have the habit. When I got here and I start driving over here, it's like I always felt the love in another way. It's not just about driving, but that's something like I really like changed completely. You know what I mean? So why not? You know what I mean? And I think I'm gonna leave Hawaii next week.
Yeah.
I'm still have mixed feelings about that, but
you always have a home in Marcelo. Forever you have a home.
Hawaii loves you, man.
Even drive, like I'm gonna try to be better. You know what I mean?
That's true. That's true. It's crazy. Even driving over here, when I went to Cali, you know, a left turn in LA, it's like a son of a bitch. You cannot get a left turn in LA. You have to fight. You have to.
It's like nobody's gonna let you go.
Don't let you go. So you have to steal it. But over here, it's enough you take out the shaka, and everybody's like, yeah, go.
So why not? You know,
why not?
So it's something like, why not be nice and better? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know it's better now. Now that I try, you know, a year driving Hawaii, like it's just like drive and don't just have to cut somebody off. You know what I mean? And I think that's like it's total life. You know what I mean? Like why not? You know what I mean?
What's some of your most memorable moments in Hawaii? Because how long have you been coming to Hawaii? How many years already? As long as you know Richard probably.
2000. I need to tell the right year, guys. 2005.
Wow.
Since 2005.
Okay.
And guys, Burton.
16 years.
Burton is a really close friend of mine.
Yeah.
Really close friend of mine. I feel like he's older than me, so I feel like I like to look up for him.
Yeah.
the experience that he gave me from the first time that I landed here was the best.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's not just Hawaii, you know what I mean? It's not just the land, it's not just the people, you know what I mean? He gave the experience, so I have to thank him for that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he gave the experience, and from that, I got to know a lot of people. I got to know like a lot of stuff. You know, I wish to know more, and I still feel like we have so much more years, you know what I mean? We still live a long life, you know what I mean? And I want to get to know a lot more, you know what I mean?
Well, Hawaii, you know, the more you know Hawaii, the more you love it. It's a relationship that only intensifies with the years, I feel.
I think this place is really spiritual. It speaks to you in a deeper way. I mean, it does. You're like connected to it, you know, and really connect to the land, connect to people. And some of them don't. Some of them come here and it's just another warm, talkable place, you know. It sounds like, it's like,
well, you have
Hawaii Mana spoke deeply in your soul and your spirit. I have a feeling you're going to be here a long, long time myself. You might be going back and forth.
I need to hold myself, guys.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I really need to.
No. I mean, it's like, we're the only one that make Marcelo cry.
You see, it's amazing that you, for a year, you lived here and you got so connected to this place, you know, seeing you caring and connecting to this place after 1 year, you know, it just, again, shows how what of an amazing person you are, that you can appreciate the reality that people live over here. Because here you can be the richest guy ever, but you're still going to be slippers, shorts, and a tank top. You don't care, and you still have sand on your feet. You know what I mean? Like, it's a whole nother ball game.
Again, I think Hawaii is about the internal, right? It's about your heart. That's why the Aloha is like a reigning thing and everything here. So here, people don't really measure what you drive, all that stuff. They measure here, you know.
100%.
I think that's everything you
understand that we can bring this everywhere.
Yeah, of course.
We can share that everywhere.
Yeah, it's a universal language.
That's
it's a universal language.
That's our
so
dream.
why not?
Yeah.
So we got to learn something from better, you know what I mean? We don't want to learn
But you're
something
doing
from
it,
the
Marcelo.
wars,
You're doing it in New York City. I have a feeling.
In the toughest place.
Yeah, I mean,
guys,
but you're doing that everywhere you go, though.
I have all the love in New York City, and that's why I'm going back, guys. If I don't have love over there, I wouldn't be there. You know what I mean? Like, I have like a... guys, big part of my jiu-jitsu life is in New York City. You know what I mean? I went to New York City the first time in 2003. It was huge. It was huge. Come from like small town, go to São Paulo, and from São Paulo to New York City. Pretty much. Pretty much that was the first place in the United States that I met. Guys, this was crazy. It's hard to describe. You know? If you guys know, if you guys came from a small town, maybe you guys can have that feeling, really small town, and not exposed to anything like huge or shiny, you know what I mean? And then land to New York City was huge, you know what I mean? And I fell in love, you know what I mean? I fell in love.
I think also having, you know, coming from where you come and then being in Manhattan and having the Marcelo Garcia logo with the name, you know, in Manhattan, it's such a
proud moment.
Like reassuring that you did good, that you worked hard.
But first, that was nice. But then later, it was not about that. You understand? Like today, when I see the gym, my gym, I have like 5,000 square feet mat in Manhattan.
My gosh.
Close to the Penn Station where everybody got there. But today, what I like more about New York City, guys, is not the high price rent that we have today. But what I like the most is that I can have everybody there, guys. I can have everybody. When I say everybody, like, I don't know other place in the world that would bring so many people over there.
It's a melting pot.
When you come to my gym, like, you don't know who is student, who is visitor. And that's good. That's not a bad thing. Some people can think that, you don't have the home environment. Of course we have. You don't have to have a home environment with like 200 people on the mat. You can't share your love with 200 people on the mat at once. But you have that group of people that you know is like it's your home, you know what I mean? But then when the visitor come, they don't feel threat, and that's why they come back. So I'm glad they come back, because they don't feel that threat like, oh, my visitor over here, you know what I mean?
I'm an outsider.
But that's you. But that's because of you. This is I think so important.
Hospitality.
We're so lucky, Marcelo. We get to go train to all kinds of different academy, and I can tell you, it's all about the culture that you create within your academy that foster this, right? And some academy doesn't have that, some do. And I think a lot of time black belt focus on so much technique, but they don't focus on the soft skill set, what you mentioned earlier, the respect, the culture, how to be, how to act and behave. Because one day, if you hang on long enough, you'll get your black belt. But then again, are you friendly? Are you nice? Do you live a little
Yeah,
way?
that was
Right?
a golden
So-
nugget.
Yeah.
Don't be my friend, be friendly.
Yeah, I mean,
I
it's,
love that.
Yeah, yeah.
I love that. That was a very.
Is that a ritual that you do every time when you come back to Hawaii? Like the first thing, a place you go eat? Is that a place you go sit and just stare at the sea? Is that a thing that you do?
Guys, I never have so much time like that, you know what I mean? Like to just do whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the pandemic doesn't allow me to do everything too. You
Right,
understand?
that's true.
So that's
Yeah,
why
yeah.
I still need more time.
Yeah.
That's why I still need to come back and just feel more,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But
Favorite food?
guys, I don't know anything about Hawaii.
Yeah.
I have to be honest of that. But I want to know
Yeah.
as much as I can.
Okay.
But just the music is something that touched me. You know what I mean? It's just like I always feel like that's something in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that goes to the language. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like so.
And you said surfing became your.
And surf is something that I wish to be
I-
shared about, but I don't know anything. I
Listen,
don't feel.
Marcelo, I'll be honored to take you and your son, your daughter, go surfing whenever you want. Next time you're in town, whatever you want. I
He's
have
the
all of
right person to take
Yeah,
you.
whenever I'll be.
He's
I'll
not
be-
going to take you to Kalama.
Yeah, no. Again, it's like imagine your white belt and you put on like absolute open mat, and that's what you did, right?
I fell.
And it's like,
I can recognize that.
Yeah.
You know?
So it's all about the right equipment in the right place, and like there's but that would
But look,
that would
now
bring
I
me so
have-
much joy.
Now I
to
have
do
a
that.
passion, and
Yeah.
I hope that what gives even more connection to Hawaii. you
Yeah.
know, because
Absolutely.
I'm really enjoy surfing right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I have like a 8-foot longboard. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I still use like a foam board because
Yeah.
I was about to do the transition,
Yeah,
but then
yeah.
I'm about to leave, and I was like, I don't want to just
Yeah.
travel with 2 boards right now. But that really helps me
Yeah.
to connect to
Yeah.
obviously the island, but with the nature. You
Yeah.
understand?
Yes.
And it's something that I was missing.
In New York, yeah.
I never have ocean
Yeah.
close to me growing up.
Yeah.
So it's not something that I miss.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up with ocean, so I'm not the type of Brazilian to go to the cold and like, I miss the beach so much. I miss the weather.
Yeah.
No, I never have the ocean. I don't. It's not something
Yeah.
that I miss.
Yeah.
But then when I have over here, even in vacation, even doing seminars over here, every time I always felt like good about. And obviously, I didn't have that much time. But then this time over here, really giving like a strong connection. And be just in the water is not something that challenged me.
Yeah.
Be surf, that was something that I felt the water, I felt the nature, but then I felt challenged because the wave is just like a.
Yeah.
I was here during the whole year,
Yeah.
the winter, to see those powerful like.
Yeah. It's
waves,
humbling.
like,
It's very humbling.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this was like a very strong, and I really want to take this with me because I hope everywhere I go, I'm still beginning. I can make a lot of mistakes. I hope I don't kill myself, but I'm gonna try surf. I'm gonna try surf everywhere I go. And
Yeah.
that's something that, guys, I'm gonna take this from Hawaii
Yeah.
to myself.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
understand? And I hope like will be a long part of my life. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Even Jiu Jitsu, it's always like a big part of my life. But why not surf every
Yeah.
time I have a chance? You know?
I would love to take you swim with dolphins and turtles, and I would love to take you deep in the mountain, get a little shower by waterfall. It'd be amazing.
Every weekend with Dewey.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's like
Yeah.
a.
I'm hiking the waterfalls tomorrow. If you want to come, let me know.
It's like a movie. A weekend with Dewey is like in a movie.
Well, because I love nature. I mean, I'm addicted, and that man right there, I spend a lot of time in the ocean too. So he's yeah.
So I was in touch with nature.
Yeah.
Come from my hometown. I was
Yeah.
like live on the dirt.
Yeah.
I was like a barefoot all day. Like
Yeah.
was not a farm.
Yeah.
It was a small town. I didn't live in a farm. But it felt like a farm.
Yeah.
Imagine if you have all the animals, pig, chicken. I was all over this.
Yeah.
In a small house inside my hometown. So it's
Yeah.
not a farm, but you have all the animals.
Yeah.
Brazil, like it's hard to have a farm. You know what I mean?
So wasn't it hard to do suddenly New York?
It
Urban
was a
jungle?
transition, though. He did
So I
San Paulo.
felt, so I
all that.
miss nature. I
Yeah.
enjoy
Yeah.
nature, you know what I mean? And now that I conquer my goals, you know,
Yeah.
after, my dream, be Jiu-Jitsu champion, whatever.
Yeah.
Now I start to now I can see better all the things that make me happy too, especially from my childhood. You
Yes,
understand?
yes.
So
Yes.
that was something that like I'm more connected to nature now, and I want to be more connected. I'm
Yeah.
going back to New York right now. I'm gonna find a way. I'm gonna make effort to be
Rockaway
connect-
Beach.
I'm gonna be connected to the nature as much as I can. That's
Yeah.
something that I have learned again over
Yeah.
here. You understand? It's something that
Rediscover again.
yeah,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I missed that from
Yeah.
my childhood.
Yeah, it's so important for our children to connect it to nature. Because I think,
Exactly, yeah.
to me, that's like the first lesson of spirituality is when your feet is in the dirt, you know, all that's connected to the higher power, yeah.
Guys, I learned, I grew up climbing trees.
Yes!
You understand? So why
Yes!
you know, I don't want my kids don't have a chance to do that. You
Yeah,
understand?
yeah.
That's
So-
why I was so bummed when in New York, you know, I know that, you know, a 2-bedroom costs you about $4,000-5,000 in Manhattan, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody was having kids in the 2-bedroom during
Yeah.
Corona. They cannot leave. They cannot use the
But
amenities.
people laugh after.
Yeah.
It was just the beginning.
Yeah.
After I thought it was gonna happen
I
to
know,
me.
everybody
I know
ran
after
away.
3 months, people were like,
Yeah.
yeah, we need to
Yeah.
get out, and
Yeah.
that happened. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy, man, having 2 kids
But
in,
I
a, in
didn't.
a 2-bedroom.
I did it because I was right in the beginning, so I
Yeah.
didn't know what's gonna
Yeah.
go. You know what I mean?
Well, listen, he has a family waiting. We can tie this man up for another 8 hours. I don't know. I'm just flabbergasted right now.
I'm definitely speechless. I think that you shared with us, you know, so many good things. You have such a good representation, first of all, of yourself, of the sport, and of just being an honest person. I think that, you know, choosing honesty and transparency, just like you say, solves so many things down the line. You avoid so many unnecessary things, just being yourself and being honest. And there's a saying that says, be yourself, everybody else is already taken.
That's for sure. Yeah.
So before we're gonna let you go back to your family, you know, we have a little thing that we do over here. We give our guests our big award. It's called the Aloha Hour Hama Award.
Okay, he is a hammer.
And you're definitely a hammer.
He's a hammer goat.
And just, you know, this episode we called it the goat.
That's nice.
You see, we called it the goat. I truly believe that you're the greatest of all
I was
times.
expecting a hammer now. I was expecting to finish with a hammer on my hand.
You don't need it.
Thank you so much for coming. And I think our sponsors, I think Hikoa has some beautiful gifts for you, right?
Yeah, but I don't want to do now. But yeah.
Okay.
We'll do it after.
We have some goodies for you.
Yeah.
Thank you,
I'm happy
everybody.
with the hammer.
Yeah.
I'm kind of handy guy, so I appreciate it.
You're definitely going to use it.
Yes.
Right on. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. It was a very special episode for us, episode 32. Thank you so much. Dewey, I love you. I miss you so much.
I love you. I love
Brett,
you,
I love you.
Marcelo.
Thank you so
Love
much.
you.
I can.
Marcelo,
I'm so
thank you so
honored.
much,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
So
I'm so
honored.
honored,
So
yeah.
honored to have you. We're out. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Ciao.
Aloha.